Hello, everybody. We're back again today with more 1970s films. This time, we're going to take a look at the drama category. We're each going to pick our top 5 dramas of the decade. Got Brian, AYBL Main. Make sure you sub his channel. Doc is here, my regular 2 movie partners. And drama, loaded category, a lot of outstanding pictures throughout the 10 years of the 1970s. So we're going to start it out with Doc and his top 5.
Top 5 dramas of the 70s, man. This was really tough, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
honorable mentions could go on for like a week, but we'll just jump in, man. Number 5, really a drama. So it's Kramer versus Kramer for me at number 5. Always liked this movie. I always thought, it just tugs at your heartstrings enough there to, from a guy's perspective, I think it's a little different than, say, a woman watching this movie in a lot of respects. Yeah. But Dustin Hoffman is fantastic. Actually, Meryl Streep is very good in this movie as well. Just about, this is divorce in the 70s here, or separation in the 70s, and, child custody and stuff like that as it unfolds. But it's over the 16-month period or 18-month period, or it's over a year here that she's gone before she comes back in the fold after leaving abruptly. To say the least. And I think Hoffman's performance and everything else that goes with this, and he's got his own personal issues he's got to deal with at work, and he's still got to take care of his kid and all these other things. Definitely one of the better performances I've seen, just because of everything that he actually goes through as this character. Kramer versus Kramer is it's my number 5. I could have had it anywhere on this list, to be honest with you, so I'm drawing it at number 5.
Yep.
Man, these get tough as they go. Let me tell you. Number 4, man. All right, I'm going Serpico.
Nice.
Pacino in the 70s, man. There's a lot of guys in the 70s that stand out, and he's another one. So, the story about a cop here that just got a bad rap throughout a couple of different divisions that he falls into as this goes along, but it's they think he's a rat, basically, almost in one sense, and
right
inside the cop fraternity kind of thing. So the fraternity of cops that, he doesn't always have their back. And meanwhile, there's a whole bunch of other things that go with it, but it's based on a true story to a certain point in this movie as well. So Serpico is just a really good cop drama story of more of this ebb and flow and ups and downs that this guy's going to go through, and all the stuff that he has to go through to just even do his job, let alone do the day-to-day stuff that he has to go through. And there's a lot of bad things that unfold with him along the way. And it's not really on him, but sometimes you bite the bullet when you're doing these things too. So Serpico is just a great cop drama from the 70s. I don't know if I can put it another way for you, but it's a great movie. I love the flick, man. So, man, that's number 4. All right, number 3, Dog Day Afternoon. Pacino again. What a story, man. This is like way ahead of its time. Big time, man. Yeah, you're not thinking about this story in the 70s, man. You're just not. So we talked about it before in some of these other videos, that the 70s opened up a floodgate on what you actually talked about, how much you talked about things, and how far you went in talking about all these different things that you could do or say or show, right, and everything else, even on mainstream movies, right? This is one of them, Pacino going ahead and having basically a double life, and what he wants to do for the woman of his life and what he wants to do for the man of his life, that he loves both, and just trying to pay for some surgery for the man that he loves. And it's just one of those movies that you get caught up in right away, that before you know it, you're watching it, and before you know it, it's over, and you're just going, man, where the hell did that go? It just flies, and it's just so well shot, and the flow in this movie, Charles Durning, that's the cop, I think.
Yeah.
Very little, and John our guy in this one again, isn't he?
John
Rich?
Cazale.
John
Yeah.
Cazale in this one again, and John Cazale, more of a lead in this one as well too. And more of a secondary actor, but Pacino's the lead. But talk about a supporting role in this one. My God, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And just the flow in this movie, everything about this movie is the storytelling and the realism and the human element that goes with something bad that he's trying to do is rob a bank, but everything else behind it has a lot of undertone and so we say good meaning or anything else. He's just trying to do the right thing for the people that he loves.
Right.
So
I would almost think because of the time, do you think they had Pacino on board for the film before they actually made the pitch to the movie companies to make the film?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, I got that's a hard pitch in the 70s. Even for the 70s, as liberal as they were getting, I still would think that would be a hard pitch.
If you say, listen, I got Pacino on board.
But you say I got Pacino on board, they'll be
then
like,
the studio's
okay.
all right, bring it on. Yeah, let's do it. Or I've got this idea, and I'm going to go get Pacino. That might be a tougher sell. You're right.
Yeah,
it's a good. It's a good point. I don't know. So that was my number 3. Number 2. All right, it's All the President's Men for me.
Yeah.
I don't know, Redford, Hoffman, working at the Wall Street here, breaking the story of Watergate. Love the movie forever, and I'll love it till I'm watching them hopefully in my 80s and stuff. Knock on wood. I'll be watching this one because I love these kind of flicks. So
yeah.
I think we all know the premise of this story, breaking Watergate here, and how it actually unfolds, and a whole bunch of people go to jail for this. And at the time, it was still is huge in American history on what actually happened here and how it all went down and what these 2 reporters did. Jason Robards is really good in this. I love all the supporting cast in this movie too. Jason Robards is great anyway. So
yeah.
Is it Hal's in this too, right? Hal Holbrook's in this.
Yeah.
Jack Warden and Martin Balsam.
Jack Warden, another one inside the newspaper that's fantastic. I mean, when they get going and there's banter between all of them and they're talking about how they want to go about doing the story, it's fantastic. So well,
I like that backroom stuff where you got Jason Robards. He's got his feet up on the desk. He's running the show.
Yeah.
And all these guys are
Warden
in. They're all like giving. Well, what about that story? What about those guys over there with the Watergate before it ever
drop it on 3? Put this one on the front. Let's go to the next one. Bring it in for tomorrow. That's just to go, right? It's great stuff. All the President's Men. It's kind of a classic of the 70s, in my opinion. So that's my number 2. It's really tough for me here. So the number 1 was mentioned earlier. You both probably had it in your last categories, but it's Marathon Man for me. So like I said, I'd put it somewhere. So I'm putting it here. Brian, do not go to the dentist in October. That's all I'm going to tell you. Or learn how to make somebody eat diamonds. I don't know, but there's so many iconic scenes in this movie
great movie.
I don't know, man. Dustin is he's got a good run in the 70s here too, man, and this is another one here for him. So, and Laurence Olivier is fantastic in this movie, and it's kind of odd in one sense, when you think of Marathon Man, if you see the movie or if you know the movie or if you go watch the movie, you'll come out of it thinking, my God, that Laurence Olivier, what an ass this guy is in this one. This guy's just a ruthless bastard. And meanwhile, you just realize that after it's all said and done, he's only in the movie for like half the movie or something, man. He's not even in it for that.
No.
Dustin Hoffman's in the movie for the whole thing. Roy Schneider's in this movie, and it's gets caught in this web of diamonds and Nazis trying to get the diamonds, and his brothers. He's taking Sir Laurence Olivier is trying to get his brother's diamonds that he wants to take back home. So it's a great flick, Marathon Man. Definitely my number 1 drama of the 70s, man.
Good one. Go. I think we did all have that at some point in these categories. I know I had it. Brian had it too.
I think Brian did too.
Yeah, he did. Very good. All right. I liked all them. What do you got for us, Brian?
Well, I've got three of them have already been mentioned. I've got number 5. I have Serpico. Got Al Pacino, the thin blue line, and never cross it if you're one of their own. I got to imagine that it would be very difficult to have that that wall of invulnerability nowadays in a social media world, where you wouldn't be as likely to want to protect your buddy if the information is out there. You know, case in point, the George Floyd incident. Obviously, there isn't any circling the wagons in a case like that. You know, because things nowadays they're in other people's view almost immediately. But that was a different time then. You know, ratting on your fellow officers was a bad thing, and this was kind of an intense drama for that reason. It was always that he never really was truly accepted in the brotherhood at all. So it created all that tension throughout the movie. So I like the movie a lot. Number 4 was Sounder. I agree with Rich. What a heavy movie. It's one of those movies like, oh yeah, you can watch it, but you're probably not going to want to circle back around to it for, you know, Never. 2 or 3 years, maybe. You know, give yourself some time to recover from a movie like this. It's really sad. You know, the father steals like a ham just to feed his family, and then ends up having to go to jail. While he's in jail, he ends up losing his legs. I think it was dynamite or something they were using in the labor thing, and ends up losing his legs. And it's just an all-around sad story. The kid that ends up losing his dog, because the dog gets shot, and the kid's not even aware that the dog actually got shot when he was chasing after his father, when they were taking his father away. And it's what a sad movie. It's all around sad. Cicely Tyson, though, we'll get into that later. She just knocks it right out of the park, man. The woman just trying to hold it all together. Really, just great strength for her. Loved her in that film. Number 3 for me is Paper Moon.
Nice.
I've got the combination of the O'Neills. You got Ryan O'Neil and you got Tatum O'Neil, right?
Tatum O'Neil.
And I thought the chemistry between those two, was really, really good. Here she is at the funeral. She meets a guy who everybody thinks is actually her father, even though he claims that she's not. And then they end up going on the road together. He's like this con man, and he kind of teaches her the tricks of the trade on how to con other people out of things and stuff. Yeah. And along the way, they build up this special bond as they're traveling across to, I think it's California, to shack up with her aunt or something that lives out in California. And so they end up like bonding, and they end up deciding to stay together right at the end of the film. Good job. Tatum O'Neil was, it seemed to be like, she won, right?
She won. Yeah. Supporting actress.
Yeah.
What was she smoking cigarettes at 8 years old or something like that?
Yeah, it's just crazy. Yeah.
She was youngest winner, wasn't she?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Right, because Anna Paquin came along later and won.
I'm not sure if she might have even been younger than Anna Paquin. I'm not. It's close.
It's close. So I think I'd have to go look it up.
Yeah, that's close.
Yeah, Anna Paquin was in Piano. So okay. Number 2, that was Doc's already mentioned it. All the President's Men. Everybody knows the story, of Watergate and how the stories basically unfolded over time. It's just great. I mean, Dustin Hoffman, Robert Redford. I mean, we tried to list those handful of names that dominated the 70s, and it wasn't just a handful. We ended up with like a good dozen guys.
Yeah,
pretty much just dominated the whole decade, and each one of them's body of work is just as valid as the next one. And throwing these 2 powerhouse guys in the same movie, you were asking to have a great movie. That's all there was to it. So enjoy it. It's one of those movies you can watch anytime it's on. It's be educational for younger people to want to watch it, to get some type of perspective for history. It definitely has value there. So
the thing I like about it is the outcome, and yet it's still riveting. How it's going to end out because it's part of history. But yet you're on this trek with these guys to piece it together all the way through. Right. Great movie.
Number 1 for me is One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes.
So what a bunch of banging performances in this film. Jack Nicholson. Who's the lady that plays Nurse Ratched?
Louise Fletcher.
Louise Fletcher.
Yeah, man. Whoa. Holy, what a powerful.
Don't mess with her, man. Don't mess with her.
Brad Dourif. Was that Brad's first role?
It may have been.
It may have been, and he just absolutely just killed it in that movie. It was fantastic. everything about that movie, just enough dark humor coming from Jack's
Jack's character,
humor, his type of character, just enough of it to where you don't feel like you just that it's too edgy. It just gave you enough of that stuff to where you could feel good. And that powerful ending, I don't want to give it away for anybody's never seen it. I can't imagine there's people out there that haven't seen this movie, but the ending is just incredible. That last 10, 12 minutes of the movie, just absolute powerful stuff. I mean, this right here, if we were trying to come up with who was the best actor of the 70s, this probably for me would put Jack over the top.
I happen to agree, but you could go Pacino, Hoffman, Hackman, Redford. They're all great, but I agree.
They're all great.
It's a coin flip.
Yeah,
and that performance by Brad Dourif in a supporting role.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so many great supporting actors in throughout the 70s. Look at Olivier in Marathon Man, Walken in The Deer Hunter, and of course Brad Dourif in this film, and John Cazale and everything he did.
John Cazale and everything he's in.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many great roles. So great.
I think it was like the first or second movie to win like the 5 majors at the Oscars.
Yeah, I think it was the second one after It Happened One Night.
It Happened One Night.
Yep, and then since then they've done Silence of the Lambs. There might be one after that, but I'm not sure what it was.
Maybe like The English Patient or something like that.
One of the more recent ones.
Please don't let it be The English Patient.
Brian, it could have been Shakespeare in Love.
Oh, anything but that. Anything but that. And don't let it be The Artist. I don't want to hear The Artist either.
That would be the worst.
What a complete bomb. All right, my top 5. I'm going to get a couple honorable mentions. I'll just rattle them off quick. I had Serpico, Kramer versus Kramer, The China Syndrome, which we did, Midnight Express, which is a pretty good flick, and Papillon, all in my honorable mention. But my top 5, I've got The Last Picture Show, Peter Bogdanovich's first film. I just love this. I know it's a sad movie, but it represents a dying town during the early 50s, a coming-of-age movie with Timothy Bottoms and Jeff Bridges. Sybil Shepherd's in this, beautiful, shot in black and white. It's very stark, small-town America again. There's no business or industry left that's thriving. People are miserable. There's nothing to do. Time has left this town behind. It's full of despair. It's desolate. People are looking for the way out, whether it be join the service or leave town or get married and have kids. I mean, it's just, there's no real resolution. It's like a country song, broken hearts and empty dreams. That's what I think about this movie. It's stark and realistic though. And a beautiful job of directing by Bogdanovich. I watched it the other night just to refresh my memory. Cloris Leachman's in this as well. And Ellen Burstyn, Ben Johnson. It's got a great cast. Number 4, you guys both had it. Couldn't agree more. All the President's Men has to be on the list. One of the best movies of the decade. I have it as my 4th drama. You guys did a great job talking about it. Woodward and Bernstein, the reporters at the Washington Post, piecing together information and leads and tips and leaks, all concerning the burglary at the Watergate Hotel. It's basically journalism 101, double checking their sources and getting people to give information that they don't necessarily want to give. It's a powerful movie. I love Jason Robards as Ben Bradley, the editor. We talked about that already. It's one of the great political thrillers of all time, not just the 70s. Number 3, somebody had it earlier, or we referred to it earlier, and that's Taxi Driver. Oh, Brian had it in his Western. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
I have it in the drama category at number 3. This is a movie that's always stayed with me. It's very dark, very disturbing. Study of alienation, loneliness, madness, mental instability. A guy, again, who just can't fit into society. He sees things that he wants to fix. He's playing judge, jury, and executioner in a way. Get rid of the so-called, as he calls it, scum on the streets. So he's a guy that he's not even looking inward at what's wrong with him. He's looking at everybody. He doesn't understand.
Everybody else is the problem.
Yeah, he doesn't understand women at all. He takes Sybil Shepherd on a date to a porn movie in Times Square,
Oh,
and she runs out of there with her tail between her legs, like, "Oh my God!" And he goes, "Well, what's wrong? People, couples go here all the time." It's like almost played for comedy, but it's so sad. And then you got the whole rescuing Jodie Foster from
Yeah.
the clutches of the pimp played by Harvey Keitel. Jodie's like 12 or 13 years old here, just growing up way too fast, doing insane things. It's an ultra violent, profane descent into madness, beautifully captured by Scorsese. The camera work, the score, everything about it. And, De Niro, another amazing performance as Travis Bickle here. Unforgettable. I remember seeing it in the movie theater and I was blown away. My number 2 is Godfather Part II. You guys had it in the crime thriller. I'm putting it in the drama just for the whole epic family story, really. It's probably the best sequel ever made, in my opinion, Godfather Part II. It picks up with Michael Corleone now, the head of the family, and they've moved to Nevada. They're establishing their ties out there in the casinos. And then Cuba comes into play where they're trying to get a hold down there before that implodes in 1959. And then you go into the flashbacks with Vito Corleone coming to America, and you see how the whole thing started with him raising his family in Little Italy, how he gained his power and kept it for all those years. You show him as a family man, what the reason he's really doing it. And in back to current time, you see Michael and Kay's marriage falling apart. You see Michael and Fredo, the betrayal, and the brother, the whole descent of that, or dissolution into that. And it's just heartbreaking to watch what Michael has to do to Fredo to resolve that issue. You got a reduced role of Tom in this movie too, played by Robert Duvall, the consigliere. His power's been taken away. I'm not sure. Michael just doesn't think he's a wartime consigliere. Whatever. He has a reason for what he does. This is a great, true epic.
Yeah, I would think there's a legal protection. You're trying to protect your lawyer because your lawyer technically by law cannot claim confidentiality if he's aware that you're committing crimes.
Right.
So it's like, in order to be a good lawyer, he'd have to be totally unaware that anything illegal was going on.
Right.
So I guess in a way, yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
My number 1, of course, is The Godfather from 72, where it all started with Brando and a young Al Pacino, really outside the circle of the family, a military guy coming back post World War II, I guess. And you got James Caan really is the next in line, but he's a hothead, and I don't think his dad really trusts him with the family business. Diane Keaton, of course, gets into the family. John Cazale is Fredo, who's too weak. So Marlon Brando or Vito is targeting Al to take over in his own way. They have a couple of discussions about who to look out for and how to protect yourself. To me, this is I would say not my favorite movie, but it's the best movie ever made. Great storytelling, great characters, even the lesser characters here. The Abe Vigodas as Tessio and Richard Castellano as Clemenza. They play their role here. Who else? Talia Shire as Connie, the sister.
Yeah.
She's in an abusive relationship, and that has a whole thing that sets off Jimmy Caan. And it's just unbelievable. You got the dirty cop at the hospital, the horsehead scene, the turnpike scene, the Italian restaurant scene with the gun hidden in the toilet. Just everything. So many memorable scenes all the way through. And even when Al Pacino has to go over to Italy, he marries that young girl, and then there's an explosion in the car, and just, that was meant for him, obviously, but she was behind the wheel when that happened. Just an all-time classic, in my opinion. Can't do any better than that. That would be my top drama.
Good one, buddy. For sure.
And I think we all had Godfather 1 and 2 somewhere in the mix.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
very good. All right, we're going to wrap up the drama. We'll be back with our wild card category, and that's a little bit of everything. Whatever we couldn't fit into the other categories will be placed in the wild card category. So for Brian, who just I think disappeared, and
Yeah.
the three of us will be back with the wild card. So we'll catch you in the next episode. Take it easy. Bye.